Welcome to a special edition of Crawford County Outdoors. I'm Dwayne Kohler, and we're doing viewer video today. So the first video that we have to show, at Pymatuning Lake, there was a special eagle event the past spring, and unfortunately I taped ahead of time. I taped the presentation, there were slides and all kinds of explanation, whatever, and my microphone went dead. The battery went dead on my microphone. So I did go out and saw all the, I think there were 5 different eagles' nests. So I went out with a camera and got pictures of the eagles in the nest, and I think you can see the mother eagle, and I think you can see the baby eagle's heads in the nest. But that was that was really cool. That might actually come up again in this year, in 24, and so we'll try it again in 24 if that happens. But seeing the eagles all over the place out there, one of the stories that was in the presentation was back in the, I think it was back in the 70s or the 80s, there were only 3 eagles' nests in the entire state of Pennsylvania, and now there's tons of them. They're all over the place, and like I said, 5 different ones around Pymatuning. So we went to several different locations and got the eagles and got the video of the eagles and the babies and all that. So that was really cool. Next up, we have deer hunting season. It just ended here, and I was able to be out with a bunch of friends, and I was a stander on the drive, and the deer drive came past, and I heard some shots go off, and all of a sudden here comes a deer right up to me, and it was kind of limping a little bit. I think it got nicked in the elbow. Somebody shot at it, but it wasn't taken down hard. It was just nicked in the elbow. Then I was able to get it. So I'm thrilled to be able to get a deer and fill up the freezer, and we have lots of good red meat at my house now. So that was great. Okay, so the youth pheasant hunt, but the Black Ash Sportsman's Club went on this year. Now I had several cameras on people, and the one camera got covered up and didn't come through very well. But we did see a number of the youth hunters getting out and getting their birds there. So let's check that out.
All right, Crash, we got a bird to find. Crash, let's find him. Find that bird. Sometimes when you're out at the game lands, the grass and the brush and everything is, so it's like you can't even see them half the time, And that's one thing about the pointers is like they'll stand way back. Then you got to go in all that tangle stuff to get them. These guys will go in there and get it out for you.
Now, will they give you a little bit of a heads up when they sense where?
You can see their body language. They'll start spinning around. The head will go down. The nose will be, so you can tell from that they're on one. Find him, Crash. Find that bird. Find that bird. Good job. Find that bird. Yeah, so watch his body language. He'll like the nose will go down. He'll be spinning around when he's on it, and I'll tell you when what I can. So you'll recognize that. Find him, Crash. Find that bird. Find that bird. Find that bird. Find him. Good job. Find him. There it goes, there it goes. Nice, good shot, good shot, well done. Good shot. Fetch, Crash, fetch! Fetch! Good shot. Fetch it up, Crash. You got it? Fetch. What's that, huh? Look at that. That's nice. You have a pouch?
Yeah.
Good. All right.
I can't see it.
He's got his nose down. He's on it. You move up a little bit. Move up a little bit. Find it, Crash. See how the nose goes down?
Yeah.
He's picking up the smell. Oh, there it is. There it is. It's hit. It's hit. Good job. Crash, fetch! 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 Right by that log over there. Yep, there's feathers dropping. It's hit. Over here, Crash, fetch!
Just walked into that brush.
So it's got a damaged wing. Did it go across the road or on this side?
It's on across the road.
Right on the by that log?
Huh?
Is it by that log there?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay.
That dark spot.
Dead bird, fetch, Crash. Dead bird, fetch, fetch. Over here. Fetch that bird, fetch. I saw feathers fall off the second shot. Yeah. Fetch. He's got it. He's got it. Good job. Good job. Hold. Hold. Give. Give. Look at that. Good job.
Deposit it.
Good. I think he might be on it. Here it is. Oh, good shot. Good shot. Nice. Hold, hold, hold. Butch. He likes to parade around and show off. That's a Butch thing. Hold, hold. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, give, 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 give. He's a show off.
Let go of it.
So I want to make it a point. I did not borrow a pheasant from one of the youth hunt. I go out all the time myself, and I take my dogs out. And I took my dog Butch out, and we went out to Lake Wilhelm. Jumped the bird, and it was like way out in the field, and I think it heard Butch's bell ringing, and it jumped way out in the field, and we looked and looked and looked, couldn't find it. So we were heading back to the vehicle, and on the trail on the way back to the vehicle, he got all excited, dove into the brush, and up jumped the bird. So we got that bird, and that's the bird that we used, that Lisa's going to use for the recipe today. So we're really excited about that. So keep an eye on that, and you'll see Butch. Of course, Butch has to parade around. Once he gets the bird on the ground, he has to parade around. That's been Butch. It used to be Butch would find the birds and the Crash would retrieve them. And Crash is getting old now, so I haven't been taking him out quite as much. But Butch, he did finally bring it back to me. So Lake Wilhelm, that's where this happened.
Butch, fetch, fetch. Good job, fetch. Butch, over here, fetch. Fetch it up. boy. Good job. Good job. Butch. Here. Butch. Butch, hold. Okay, give. Hey. Okay, give. Nice. Good job, Butch.
Okay, so how did we get that bird ready for Lisa's recipe? Okay, so I wore my lid cam on my hat, and I went through all the specifics. We've talked about this a number of times, and we did like a little quick version of it one time, probably 5 years ago here on the show. But I want to go through all the details. So I had the bird, and like take the meat off the breastbone, take the meat off the thighs, take the meat off the lower legs, take the meat off the wings, take the meat off the back, all that kind of stuff. You can see all that. So check that out.
Okay, so we already boned the first half of this bird, so let's bone the second half. So you take the knife and you go right to the breastbone and you slide the knife right along the breastbone, and then you kind of put a little pressure on the meat and you go up near the wishbone to the top here, and then when you see a little thing like that, that means a pellet went in there, and so you want to scrape it out because the pellet might be in there, or there might be some blood, and there might be some feathers in it. Okay, right there, looks like there's a hole there, like maybe it went right through that breastbone. Okay, so you trim the meat off. Actually, if you just scrape it a little bit with a knife, sometimes the feathers and the blood comes right off. Dab it there. Now there's a bunch of like ligaments and tendon things inside the bird here, and you want to get them off. So inside the breast, if you just kind of grab a hold, it'll slide off that one main tendon, and just cut these pieces into little chunks. And keep trimming. Oh, there's another little bit of a feather right there. Now what I do is I slide the knife, trim it off the rib bones there, and I slide the knife up and keep the wing attached. And there's a little bone on the back of the bird. And there's a little bit of meat on the top of this bone on the back of the bird, so slide the knife over top of that, and that'll get you that meat. And then trim it going forward. And then you take the wing and the breast meat off by separating the wing bone from the shoulder right there. There's that tendon that we just scrape it with a knife, and the meat comes right off. Now there's a little bit extra meat right here. If you scrape it, it'll come right off. And then right here on the chest bone, there's another little bit that I missed, so I'll save that. And then if you take your knife and scrape down here, sometimes you get a little bit more. That one has a little bit of blood in it. We won't use that. But scrape here on the wishbone, and some meat will come off there. There's other little. So if you see nice, healthy looking pink meat, scrape it off and save it, because that's definitely good for your meal. Okay, so here's the breast. Let's get rid of that blood right there. Just touch it, scrape it with a knife, it'll come right off. I don't see any pieces of shot in there, so that's a good thing. Okay, so you want to cut this in strips. You will come across a few other little tendons and ligaments and things in here, and we'll trim them out. And just run the knife and the meat comes down and peels off. I got the wing here, so just like you scrape the knife back and forth on the tendon or on the ligament, and the meat comes off. And throw that in the trash. See the little silvery piece right there? Yeah, you just kind of hold that down and then scrape the knife, and that piece comes out of the food. There's another little place where the bird got hit. Get rid of that. And get rid of that. You can trim there's a nice little bit of extra meat on the wings. I mean, if you think about chicken wings, this is basically the same thing. There's meat on the wings. So you just kind of run the knife down and scrape, and it comes out. Oh, there's a feather. Get rid of that. And there's a ligament or a tendon or something. We'll get rid of that. Save the meat. Save a little bit here on the other side. Drag the knife across it. You see it does come off. So when you see something a little silvery, whitish silvery, you just kind of scrape the knife across it, and it cleans the meat right off. Get rid of that, and put the meat with the meat. Let's just kind of drag the knife across, and it cleans it off. There's a little piece of a feather. We'll get rid of that. Okay, that's good. Yeah, any little pink stuff you see, scrape it off, like drag the knife across it, and typically it'll come off, and you just want to make sure you don't see anything silvery or anything like that's definitely a ligament tendon. Whenever you want to just kind of drag the meat away from it, and just do that by scraping it with a knife, and it comes right off. And put the meat in. Okay, there's the wing. It's all cleaned up. One little tiny little bit there. Okay, that goes in the trash. Alright, now we can cut up these strips.
them up into small pieces. There's a little bit of a connective tissue there. We'll get rid of that. Put this in the meat container. Right, there's a little ligament there. We'll slide the knife on, and that'll come clean. When you slide the knife across, see it shows up there. So you just, like I said, just slide the knife across it. Okay, you want to get rid of that. Most of the meat comes off the breast, but there's definitely meat on the wing. There's meat on the thigh. There's some meat on the calf. A little bit of meat down the back. We'll get to that in a minute. But you definitely want to use up all the breast meat, because that's definitely the most part of the meat. See that little ligament there? There's the end of it right there. We'll hold it down and trim it off. That's why you need a paper towel next to you, so that you can, sometimes those things will stick nicely to the paper towel, and sometimes you can just put them right in the trash can. Okay, so that's the breast and the wing. Now here's the leg. So you want to take the knife and slide it down the front of the leg until you run to the bone. Turn it around and slide it down the back until you run to the bone. And then kind of bend it a little bit where the bone is, and then cut the bone off from the hip area there of the bird. Now that one must have gotten a pellet, must have hit in that hip area. It kind of broke. So one thing you want to do is flip this over and then drag the knife across in front, because it doesn't let you get the knife in there because it's kind of curved. And like I said before, drag it across that tendon thing and you get some meat off. And the back piece of the hip came off here. It's right here. So you want to drag the knife across that, scrape the meat off of it. Yeah, I guess we can just leave that connected. There's a little bit of meat right there. Okay, so I'm going to take the knife and slide it right next to the thigh bone, and then turn the knife around and slide down the leg, and you can get that off. Now there's a bunch of tendons in the lower part of the leg, so I'll show you how to clean that up in a minute. Do the other half of the thigh. There's a little bit of a tendon on the back of that, so like I said before, hold it with your finger, scrape the knife, and then scrape the knife the other way. There's the connective tissue, and then there's the meat. Put the meat in. Now we've got the calf here. Slide the knife along the bone. There's a little kneecap thing in there, so you have to work around that. Now I'll show you how you clean these things off in a minute. You can get the meat off of the area of the knee there, and just double check and make sure you don't have any silvery stuff in it. And then drag the knife up and down, and that'll clean off the meat. And then you hold the little tendon at the end, drag the knife, and it takes the meat off. And there's another little one there. These ones on the lower calves they almost feel like toothpicks. They're kind of sturdy, stiff, as opposed to the flappy, soft ones that are in the breast and the chest area. These ones in the calf area, they're rigid. And like I said, there's a bunch of them. So you just kind of take the knife and scrape them down. The meat comes right off, and you get rid of them. It's actually real easy to get the meat off of those things. Hold it by the end and drag the knife across. Here's another one. This one has a little bitty one in it. Drag the knife. It cleans it right up. You want to get this out of the way so it doesn't get stuck to another piece of meat going in with the meat. Hold that down, drag the knife. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, this leg, just another couple little pieces on the top and on the knee there. So scrape the knife across and the meat comes off. That's basically how you get all this extra meat off. Is you basically hold it, drag the knife across it with the blade kind of like at 90 degrees. Drag it across and it scrapes the meat off. And then you just want to double check and make sure you don't have any connective tissue with it there. Okay, now here's another piece of the calf, and again scrape the knife across it and scrape the meat off of the little tendons or ligaments or whatever they are. Cleans right off very easily. Maybe I'll cut that piece in half. That's a bigger little piece. Get rid of that. A couple more of those right here. Looks like when I scraped that one, the connective tissue thing came loose. Drag the knife. Put that in the trash. Scrape that off, a little piece of meat. Put your finger on the thing, hold it steady, and then kind of scrape the knife across it, and you get the meat off. Because there's definitely meat on the lower leg in addition to the upper leg. Now, when you do that, just scrape, 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 and you can see how the meat just comes right off. We'll cut that in a couple of pieces. Oh, there's a little bit of a tendon on the back of that. Okay, so go one way, hold it down with the thumb on the, go the other way, and it comes off. Get rid of that. Got two nice pieces of meat. This I think is from the thigh. Sometimes there's little stretchy pieces you just want to get rid of. Those aren't the Same stiff tendon things, but you want to get rid of them. And I don't see any tendons or anything in that one. There's a little slimy piece here, so I'll hold that down, slide the knife. Get rid of that. Cut this in half. Okay, so this was the thigh and the calf together. So I'm going to slide my knife down, skin off part of it. Oh, there's a piece of meat right there. There's another piece. We'll save those. Okay, so there's a couple of these little stiff little things here. Hold them, slide the knife. The meat comes right off. Get rid of that. Oh, there's two more. Okay. Slide the knife. The meat, boy, meat's just slid right off that one. And we'll cut this into 2 or 3 or 4 pieces here. Okay. I'll flip that around, hold that silvery piece down, and slide the knife. Just a little bit of meat right there. Drag the knife across, it comes off. We'll cut this into pieces, and like I said, drag the knife across, and there's a little connective tissue thing right there. We got rid of that. Cut this into pieces. This is the thigh. A little bit of connective tissue. Got rid of that. Okay, half the thigh we cut up into about 5 or 6 pieces. Oh, there's another little piece of connective tissue there. Hold it with my finger and slide the knife. Pulls right out. Oh, it's not a pellet, that was just a piece of a feather, okay. Drag the knife across there. You see that little shiny part there? We'll get rid of that. If you see it, if you feel a little bump and it's kind of pink, you want to scrape the knife on it, and that'll clean it up. Oh, there's a little piece that didn't come off, stuck on there. Okay, got that. Okay. That one's good. And here's the silvery piece. So hold that with my thumb. And slide the knife. And get rid of that silvery stuff. And there we go. There's dinner. It's all cleaned up. I think, let me double check. Yeah, everything's off this. Scraped it all. Alright, that goes in the trash. And there's dinner. That's about 1.25 pounds. So that makes for a great dinner.
Well, thanks for joining us for all those clips here. Now, Lisa's going to come up with a great recipe. I know it's going to be pheasant, and I know it's going to be that one that we got at Lake Wilhelm, so I'm really excited about that. And joining us now, Chef Lisa Beck. So, Lisa, what's your idea for a recipe for today?
We are doing pheasant stir fry.
Ooh, Now, I want to point one thing out. We got the video of where this exact pheasant came from, and I just wanted to reinforce that I did not take a pheasant from the kids, from the youth hunt. I would never ever do that.
Right. We say that every year because
same thing with the veterans hunt. We would never do that. We would never do that. So we actually have video of this pheasant, of Butch getting this pheasant.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you have video of deboning the pheasant.
Absolutely.
So that's wonderful. So yeah, so we're doing a pheasant stir fry today.
Yay.
We've got a nice hot pan. We've got some oil I use, you can use whatever oil you want. I like when I'm cooking a stir fry to use a toasted sesame seed oil.
Oh, okay.
I think it's good.
Okay.
Gives it a little extra flavor. So the first thing we're going to do, and this is easy, you can do this with chicken. I did it with chicken last week. Everybody loved it. Is you're going to cut your pheasant or your chicken up into small pieces, pound it out a little bit, and then you're going to brown it.
Yay. Okay.
So that's going to be your job. Yep, that's going to be your job. I'll just put it like this.
That's my expertise, right?
Yep.
Butch's expertise is finding the birds,
Yep.
and I got to shoot it.
That's right.
And then I got to chase Butch around because he's got to show off. He's got to parade all around, show off. It used to be Crash. Crash is getting old now, so I only take him like every third time or whatever.
Right.
And so when Butch comes back with the bird, he's got to parade around, show off.
I'm sure he does.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so this should cook up rather quickly because they're real small pieces. But like I said, we've got some oil in there. We're just going to brown it on all sides. And once we do that, we're going to take it out and we'll cook the vegetables. And the vegetables we have for today, I sliced up like a medium to small onion. I julienne some carrots. I'd say a little over a cup of each, maybe a cup and a half. I have some of the sweet peas and some broccoli.
Wow.
So we've got lots of good flavor, lots of color. And then, we'll get that in there in a minute. That's frying up.
So it's going really
nice.
fast here.
Yeah,
I mean, half the pink's already gone.
That's right. That's what we want. We want to brown it on all sides. We are going to put it back in, but we want to make sure it is pretty cooked.
Okay.
So, and you can smell that toasted sesame seed oil.
Oh yeah, it smells great.
It's really fragrant. It smells great.
That's one thing we've talked about before in the past, smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision.
Nobody can ever smell the stuff, but we love the smell of these things.
We always mention it because, those poor viewers, they get the recipe, but they don't get the wonderful smell unless they're cooking it themselves. So.
Oh, that's really great.
Yeah, I love that. That is a great oil to use for stir fry.
It's cooking quickly here.
Great. We'll get that really good. We'll take it out, and then we'll start our second half of the recipe. This is a fast recipe, and by the way, you can cook any kind of rice that you want, but I have some white rice that I made that this would be served over, but you can do whatever you want, whole grain.
You can use wild rice.
Brown rice, whatever. I happen to have some, I was in a hurry, so I used some white minute rice that I happen to have, but yeah, it doesn't matter, your preference, whatever you want. You don't even have to, if you want to go low carb, you don't have to do any rice. I mean, you've got your protein and your vegetables, so.
I like rice.
I like a little something in there. Yeah, I don't have a problem with rice. I typically don't eat a white. I usually eat a whole grain wild rice.
Okay.
But like I said, this is good too. Yeah, I'd say another minute and that's going to be done.
So it's like the boning takes like maybe 30 minutes to bone the bird. This whole thing's going to take 15, 20 minutes or whatever to cook it.
Probably less than what it did.
So less time than it took to bone the bird. Okay.
As long as your pan is nice and hot, yeah, I guess. and when you cook your vegetables in a stir fry, you don't cook them until they're completely done. You want them crisp and tender at the same time, so they don't take that long to cook. And I have a lid if we want to speed up the time for this. You can put a lid on it; it'll cook a little faster.
Okay.
So
all the pieces are breaking up and.
Yeah, they look great.
Do I see any pink? There's one little speck of pink there.
Yeah, we want to make sure that they're cooked. Even though we are going to put them back in, we're not going to put them back in for too long just to warm them up. So we want to make sure that they're done.
Just some little teeny pink
Yeah, you can kind of break them a little bit if you think there might be one that needs a little extra time. But it smells great.
So they don't have to get brown, right? They just have to get.
Well,
they just have to get
you don't want them to be pink, but you also don't want them to be raw in the middle.
You don't want them to be. Okay.
And that's why you cut them as small as you do, because that does cook them up quickly.
And it's like I always make it a point to like my little fingernail. That's that size. I cut them up that size.
I'd say you're almost there.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah. About 30 seconds. I'm watching my watch here.
Okay.
And then we'll get those out. So mind you, they haven't been flavored at all. This is just toasted sesame seed oil. But we are going to make a flavoring to put in this once we cook up the
Okay.
vegetables. So I think we could probably take them out.
It looks great.
Yeah. So do you think
Can
we
I
can get
give
them in
you
here?
that?
Yeah. Okay. My left-handed spatula. Which we always talk about too.
All downhill.
That's right. And then I'll probably have you drop that juice in the sink because I don't think we need
We
that.
don't need that juice? Okay.
No, we don't. So if you want to just, and I'll wipe the side of that off because we are going to put it back on the stove. We're just going to move this pheasant out of the way. Let me just wipe that off so it doesn't smoke. Okay, well, you're going to stick that back on the hot plate. I'm going to put a little bit more oil in there.
A little more oil,
We're
okay.
going to do about 2 tablespoons. Eyeball it, that's what I do. And now we're going to put in our vegetables.
There's some onions.
Yep, it's not sizzling, so got to make sure it is turned up all the way.
Pan probably cooled off a little bit.
It
when we
might
had-
have
when we
cooled
had
off
it
a little
on.
bit. We may have to put the lid on it for
Okay.
a few minutes.
There's
There are
broccoli
carrots.
and carrots and
Yep.
the bean and the
Sweet
peas.
peas. Let's get these out of the way.
Now stir them around.
Get them stirred up. They're starting to sizzle. We'll put the lid on it. That'll help them go a little faster. We only want them, like crisp tender. I mean, I know that's kind of an oxymoron,
you don't
but
want them getting all soft from,
we don't want them
from
soggy.
being in there for half an hour or
Yeah.
whatever. You don't
And
want them all soft.
while you're doing that, I'm going to mix up the sauce that's going to go over everything. Okay.
Okay.
So I have about 1.5 cups of water.
Now there's a little steam coming off here,
That's-
Lisa. Does that mean that's working?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And then I have about 1.5 tablespoons of like a bouillon cube, like a chicken bouillon. I have some ginger. Let's see, I have a spoon here. About 1 tablespoon of ginger. I've talked about it. I keep, cut up ginger in the freezer because if you buy a ginger root, you're like going to use it one time, and how long ago after that are you going to use it again? So I cut it up in about 1-inch chunks, and I just freeze them and pull them out whenever I need them, and it works just fine. And then we're going to do about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce
Okay.
and about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch.
Oh, okay.
So we'll get that mixed up. This is our sauce mixture.
I have some steam coming out of here,
You
so
do.
that's
Yeah, they're cooking.
it's working.
They're
it's
cooking
working.
for
Okay.
sure. So we'll just leave that like this. Do a little cleanup here. That looks great. And what I love about when you're cooking these vegetables, when they start to cook, they get brighter.
Oh, okay.
They get a little oil on them and they get a little brighter.
Okay.
And you can kind of see that with the broccoli already.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
That's for sure.
the onions don't. They become translucent, but we don't want to go that far with those either.
Okay.
We don't want them to become that way. We just want to, cook them a little bit. The stir fry typically has some crunch to it.
And if you don't stir it around while they're in there, they're gonna like burn, and like you said, they're gonna get overly done.
Right, right.
So that's why you stir
You
fry,
want to
right?
stir. It's stir fry, hence the name, stir fry. That's right, Dwayne. Very good. Again, that oil is the best smell. I
It's
love
really
it.
good.
Yeah, I made this, like I said, it was about a week ago for the family, and we left and then came back, and I walked in the door and I could smell that. It was the first thing I smelled when I walked into the kitchen. When I came back, I said, wow, that's a really fragrant oil.
Now the onions all breaking up. Is that what we want?
Yep, that's
Okay.
what we want. We want them all. You're doing a great job, Dwayne. That's exactly the way it's supposed to be.
I think they're all broken up now.
Yep.
One little, there it is. Okay, it's all broken up now.
I would say you've got them
Put the-
really mixed up well. Let's
put the
put the
lid
lid
on?
on it for a few minutes.
Okay.
So that it, can kind of cook in
Steam
there.
a little bit?
Yeah. And that might speed up our cook time.
Okay.
So, so what we're going to do is once those are done, we're going to pour our sauce on. Because we put that cornstarch in there, That's going to thicken up.
It's going to make it thick.
Yeah, it will. As soon as it hits the pan, it will thicken up.
Okay.
And then we will put the meat right back in it at the same time, which I should grab so I don't forget. And we will pretty much be done.
Yay.
Yeah.
You can tell it's steaming because it's like fogging up
Oh
the
yeah.
fogging
you
up
got
the
some
glass lid there.
condensation in there. I'm going to grab some plates because before you know it, we're
It's
going to be
ready.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd say I'm going to watch this. I'm going to give it another 45 seconds, and then we'll take that off and have you stir it again.
Okay.
They'll be done soon.
It's like the moisture's like you can clearly see it collecting on the inside of the lid
Oh, yeah.
there. So it's
Yeah.
definitely steaming.
Another 20 seconds, and we'll take that lid off and stir it up and see how it looks.
You know, it was funny when we got this pheasant. We went to Lake Wilhelm, and we went all the way down through all the fields that are down right up next to the highway.
Right.
And a bird jumped, and I think it heard Butch's bell, like a long ways off, and jumped. And we looked and looked and looked, couldn't find it. So we're walking out, and here on the trail on the way out, bird jumped.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, hey, all right, we'll take that one.
Yeah,
we'll take that one.
We'll do that. Yeah, for sure. All right, why don't you take the top off that? Let's look at it. Oh, that looks great. It needs a good stir.
It does, it
look,
does.
you
It
can
looks-
see the broccoli, how bright it gets.
It looks really super.
Yeah. I'd say it needs probably another 2 minutes. Once you turn that over, we'll put the lid on it for 2 minutes and then we'll check it because I think really we're getting close. You don't want your broccoli to be raw or your carrots to be raw, but you want them to be firmer.
Crispy. You want them
yeah,
crispy, right? Yeah.
Firmer than what they would typically be without being cooked, of course.
Lid back on.
Yep. And I'll watch the timer there. We'll give it another couple of minutes.
So how did deer season go at your house this year?
Wow. Interesting that you might ask. I have to say that deer season went rather well in my house, considering that we have 6 deer in our freezer.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yes, we got some archery, we got some during regular season, we got some bucks, we got some doe. So now we have lots
So
of
the
venison.
freezer's full.
And we bought a brand new freezer because we needed a bigger one. Well, actually, the other one broke. So right after archery, and good thing that I had cookies hiding in the freezer because Terry went down there to steal a cookie and realized that the freezer had died. So we went and got a larger one because I guess they anticipated all those deer. I don't know how they could do that, but so now we have a large freezer and lots of venison. Which,
well, that's great.
yeah, because we
That's
were out. We were completely out. So happy to say there's sausage in there. There's bologna in there. I mean, 3 different types of sausage. We've got the breakfast, the mild, the hot. Lots. We've got some roast. We've got some backstrap, some tenderloins, and lots of burger.
Now at my house, we still had a little bit of backstrap left. We still had a few roasts left, but all of the ground was gone because we did lots of, you know, we did chili and spaghetti and all, you know, all those kind of things, and the ground was all gone. So I didn't even bother making roasts this year. I got I got one in archery, I got one in rifle season, and I didn't even bother, you know, with roast this year. It's just it's all ground now. Well, we took the backstraps off. I mean, the backstrap's awesome. I mean, you got to save those.
You can't grind those.
No, you don't grind. Don't grind that up.
That's almost like a sin.
Yeah. Yes. Right. Yeah. We'd never do that.
No,
we'd never do that.
No, because they're so good. And actually, the day that they hunt, we usually have it that day. We always have fresh.
Okay.
You know, and it's just a special treat. You know, congratulations, guys, you got your deer. But we had that multiple times.
We did backstrap on the grill for Christmas this year.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
that was awesome.
That's
we had,
how we
you know,
cook
lots of
ours.
family over, and we, you know, everyone loved it. Everyone loved it.
I don't know how anybody can't. I never try to fool people. I tell everybody what it is. And I don't know how many times you're cooking a backstrap, a tenderloin, and you do it on the grill. If you do it the right way, low and slow, medium rare, and you tell people what it is and they taste it, they're shocked.
It's really tender and very, very tasty.
Yep.
It's very.
You want to check? Oh, I think we're about there.
that.
Let's give it a good.
Another stir.
Yeah, there's nothing like that fresh. It's just the best. We are going to. I'm gonna. Well, let's see. I think I'm gonna test a carrot. If I don't get burned here. Oh yeah.
It's ready.
That's good. Let's give it another minute, and then we're gonna throw in.
Lid on or not?
we'll leave the lid off. We'll just have you stir,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Because I can see some of the pieces on the bottom are starting to get pretty done. We're going to add our liquid here in about 45 seconds. We're going to throw the meat in, and we're going to let it all heat up together.
Yay.
And then we're ready. And it's a nice one skillet meal.
Mm-hmm. It smells awesome.
For 30 seconds. And you're going to see how fast this liquid thickens up because of the cornstarch.
So it's almost going to be almost like a casserole, almost in a way.
No, not really.
No?
No,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
because the casserole is more stuck together.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this will thicken up. But,
Okay.
Okay, we're going to pour this in and let that heat up with the chicken, or not chicken, sorry. Chicken was last week.
Put the pheasant in
Oh,
there.
don't want to lose a piece of that.
A couple of little bitty pieces there.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Okay.
Get them mixed up real well. Well, probably once you do that, we'll get the lid on
Put the
there.
lid back on,
Yeah,
okay.
because it needs to heat thoroughly. Yum. Yeah, because you want it to coat everything. That looks really good, Dwayne.
I can see that what you said about the liquid thickening. That's already happening.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, lid back on.
Yep, I would say so. Let's get that one in there. That helps it fast to move the time a little quicker. So,
Pheasant is really popular at our house.
I know.
That's extremely popular. And venison is too.
Right.
I mean, after my wife had a gallbladder surgery, she can't do red beef, she can't do pork and whatever. So the only way we can have meat like that is to have venison.
because it is so lean. We've talked about
Oh,
that
it's
numerous
aw- oh,
times
it's awesome.
on the show.
Oh.
It is very, very lean and good for you. I mean,
So I'm very pleased that I was able to get two. Like you guys, everybody got two at your house this year. So
Yeah.
I was pleased I was able to get two this year too.
yeah. Well, that's great. Yeah, this was an exceptional year for deer hunting in our house for sure.
Yeah,
sure.
I swear, I took the dog out just for an exercise run today. 6 deer ran across the road in front of us as we were out there today.
They're everywhere. It is amazing. If we put the other day, Terry bought some corn, put it in the backyard. We just love to watch them. And no sooner did he get in the house, I think they were waiting for it. They're running up the gas line, and we just sit there watching it. There were 11. They were just in our backyard. And then we went for an appointment in Cranberry, and on our way home, you're in the middle of Cranberry. And we're on 79, and it's a hill, because everything's hilly, on the side of the interstate, and there's a chain of deer. There must have been something good in the grass, because they were there's a chain of them all the way up the hill. We just looked in amazement, because it looked like a chain of deer.
Well, these ones that I saw today, like I said, they were 6, and they were all nice and big, and they were just bouncing. I think Butch must have scared them. I think it's what happened, because he was running around in the brush and everything, and I think he spooked them, and it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And they weren't very far from me. They were probably 50 yards from me or whatever.
No. And for those people who have the opportunity, like you have deer, you see deer in your backyard
Oh,
too.
in the backyard all the time.
If you have that opportunity, if you just, sit down one evening, sometimes they're out there in the early evening and watch them, they are fascinating. We've watched, them kind of fight over who's going to get the food first. And, they stomp those paws and snort. If you open the window, you can hear it. But it is fascinating. And they'll push others out of the way. And then it's like the cream of the crop, or the strongest one, or the whatever gets it first. And then they get out of the way, and one by one they go up there. And they're fun to watch.
I have oak trees in my backyard. And of course they come for the acorns, that's like October, November, something like that, when the acorns are all falling. Now across the street, the neighbor's yard, they have hickory nuts, and they're like all coming down now.
They're coming down right now.
And it's like almost every time when it's dark, I look out, and the street lights show, and there's a deer in the yard eating those nuts,
I know.
And there's just a ton of nuts. And that big windstorm the other day.
Oh, it blew a lot of them off.
I think probably brought them all down. So
Right,
I imagine
right.
this will probably be the tail end of the second,
I would think so.
nut eating season, for the deer.
Right.
So that was pretty interesting. That was
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
Should we check?
Should I stir some more?
Yeah,
or?
I think so. Oh, it's still, look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, we definitely need a stir. That looks good. See how thick that is?
Oh, it's really thickening up.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that everything's coated. I actually will turn it down a little bit because we don't want anything to burn on the bottom or
I
scorch.
don't know that we've done this one in our house. I think this is going to be happening in our house. I can
it's-
already guess that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it will because it's a good one.
Yeah.
And it's really healthy. I'm always looking for healthy recipes and one, a one dish recipe. Well, there you go. I mean, with the exception of the prep, because I prep everything for the show, I mean, you could just stand at your cutting board, cut everything up, throw it in.
I love the idea of having all the fresh vegetables in with the pheasant. That's just awesome.
Yep. I'd say, let's mix that side in a little
This side?
bit. Yeah, I see a little bit. That doesn't look like it's covered. I'd say we're about ready.
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah.
A little bit there is not covered too. Okay.
Yeah, you want to make sure it's coated. Let me get the rice out.
That looks great.
So we just got some white rice. Put a little bit here on the plate. And I say we turn this off. And it's our favorite time.
Yay. Well, whenever I talk to people, this is all they want to talk about is Lisa's recipe.
Lisa's recipe. Let's make sure you get every one of those vegetables, Dwayne. That's going to be
Look at that.
yours. There you go.
That is great.
And this one will be mine. Make sure I get those sweet snow peas. I like those. All right.
Can I put the lid back on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Get that out of the way. All right.
Okay. So it's going to be a little bit hot.
It is going to be hot always.
Oh, Lisa, that's amazing.
Just like the restaurant.
I can tell you for sure this is going to happen at my house now.
All right.
That's amazing.
It tastes, I mean, minus the fact that it's pheasant, because you wouldn't have pheasant in a restaurant. If you go to the Chinese restaurant, it tastes just like it. I mean, it really does. Oh, I love it. It's so good.
Wow. Well, Lisa, thanks for the awesome recipe.
You're welcome.
Thanks for Black Ash for having the youth hunt. That was a lot of fun. And thank you for the folks at home for joining us today. And man, I am finishing my recipe.
Yeah, I'm
This
gonna
is tremendous.
finish mine too.